Have you seen the movie Air? Oh my God, if you haven't seen it, you should go and see it. It is amazing. Oh my God, if you are in marketing or you own a brand or work for a brand, you should see this movie Air. It details all the activities that went on behind the scene that led to that miraculous deal that Nike signed in 1984 with Micheal Jordan. An amazing deal that made the brand what it is today. See, miracles happen in business, but it doesn't fall from heaven. Are you prepared? So I'm going to tell you some of the things that Nike did to make sure that deal happened. But spoiler alert, if you've not watched the movie, you can log off now. Go and watch it on Prime Video and then come back and watch this video. But if you've seen it, let's gist. Do you know that in 1984, Nike just had like 15% share of market?
1984 has been a tough year. Our sales are down, our growth is down.
Converse had the majority of the market share and then followed by Adidas. Nike was just the smellos at the bottom. Oh my God, it stunk so bad. No player wanted to be associated with it. They just won't do it. See what I did there? It's trying to play with the slogan. And by the way, you shouldn't listen to what Chris Tucker said about the origin of this Nike slogan in the movie. Please, just don't do it. Don't do it because if you hear it, you can't unhear it. So close your ears.
You know, I like that new slogan, the one for the whole company that they're talking about.
I don't like it.
What?
You know where it came from?
No.
That damn slogan came from a convict about to get executed in front of a firing squad, and they asked him, "What's your last words?"
Just do it?
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I told you not to listen. I'm telling you that Chris Tucker's version of the origins just stuck in my head. And given the way Nike was in 1984, the poor state of the company, you would want to believe that story. But thankfully, in 1985, the story changed. After they signed Micheal Jordan, that was the miraculous deal that transformed the company into a multi-million-dollar company today. Now, the thing is, in the first year of signing Micheal Jordan, Nike was estimating that maybe we'll make like $3 million in the first year. But guess what? Air Jordan, which is the shoe line dedicated to MJ, by MJ I mean Micheal Jordan, sold over $162 million in its first year alone. Even Nike couldn't believe it. But that wouldn't have been possible if Nike did not do their homework. Now, what is that homework? That's what we're here to talk about today. Number one, employ the right people.
Sonny, I brought you in here to grow the basketball business.
Nike was ready. They had talented people. If you watch that movie, you would see. Okay, you had a visionary leader who had foresight. You had a creative marketing lead. You had a creative product designer, right? And then you have this guy, a guy that is just there. I'm talking about Matt Damon. They were questioning his relevance in the company, but you see, the MD knew that he had intelligence and then he kept him there just because he saw something in him. You need to employ the right people. I'm telling you, every single person in Nike's team contributed immensely to the success of that deal. The fact that the black man was there helped. So diversity is important. Yes. The fact that we had people who are ready to jump in and work and pull an all-nighter for the company helped. You see, if you don't have the right team, you don't have anything. Okay, you might be going down for a long time, but when the opportunity comes, do you have the right team to grab it? All right, so the number 2 point is never ever back down. That is a very, very important marketing lesson. Don't take no for an answer. Always look for a way to get what you want.
Do you typically make it a habit of showing up at people's front doors unannounced?
I don't like to take no for an answer. Oh, man, here we go.
If Matt Damon had taken no for an answer, or if he had relaxed, he wouldn't have gotten that deal. He went over and beyond the call of duty to get what he wanted. He set his mind on MJ, knowing that MJ would deliver for him, and he went for it. did all he could to get it done. So never ever back down. Okay, sometimes you might need to change your strategy, sometimes you might need to change your approach, but don't take no for an answer, especially when you're convinced in your heart that this deal is going to mean well for my business. Now, the number 3 thing, know your competition. Oh my God, that cannot be overemphasized.
You would have to have a pretty compelling pitch.
I can tell them the one thing the other companies can't compete with.
You need to be ahead of the game. You need to know what they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're doing. You need to know their next move, because that is exactly what helped Matt Damon and Nike. Sorry, I'm saying Matt Damon. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'm sure you get it if you've watched the movie. That was one of the things that helped them. They knew what the competition were going to do. And because he had all of those information, he knew what to present to MJ that he couldn't say no to. That is the power there. If you know your competition, you will be able to outsmart them or be one step ahead of the game. Okay, so the next thing is for you to have a solid and unique strategy. Like Nike.
People don't know what the hell a Nike is.
What's a Converse?
NBA All-Star shoe.
There's nothing cool about Nike.
Well, the later part. Like I said in the beginning, they were doing very, very poorly. And the reason why they were not selling, it wasn't because they didn't have good products or they didn't have talented staff and good management team. No, it was purely a perception problem. People did not want to associate with Nike. The other brands like Converse and Adidas, they were associated with success, with lifestyle, with sports, because they had the biggest players in their company, right? So Nike was like the smellos at the bottom, right? And they needed to change that perception in order to gain acceptance in the market. And what was their initial strategy? Their initial strategy was to do exactly what the other brands did: sign as many players as possible. Thank God they didn't do that, because if they had done that, that strategy wouldn't have delivered on their goal. They wanted to change perception, but they didn't have enough budget to sign so many stars. So what they wanted to do was to use the available budget to sign the next best thing in basketball or in soccer. You know why? Because they can't afford the big players. They wanted 3 players, for example. They had to go for 3 small players just because they wanted brand awareness. But would that have solved the perception problem? No. They still would have been seen as the company that cannot afford the big boys. They still would have been seen as the company that is not associated with success. So they needed that star power. So thank God for Matt Damon. He came back and re-strategized and told them, you see, we don't need just any star. Let's put all our resources together and invest it on one star with a purpose. They identified the star and they bet all their entire budget on him, and bam, it became a success. So you need to re-strategize. Do not do what other people are doing. No, you need to strategize based on your budget and based on the goal you want to achieve. That's a very valid point that we can learn from Nike. Now, let's move on. The next thing is for you to dare to be different. Be different. Do not be like everybody else. This is just piggybacking on the previous point that I made. And it's very important. Let me give you an example from the same movie, yeah? Right? Every other company was offering MJ the same ambassadorial deal that they offered to the big players. You're going to be here. You're going to be part of our players. Your name is going to be mentioned alongside other big players. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to give you such amount of money. That's what they were all offering. But what did Nike do? Nike decided to switch things up. They gave him a different deal that was specially designed for Micheal Jordan, a shoe line called Air Jordan. Now, the design of this shoe is so different, they broke the law and they were prepared to pay $5,000 as fine for every game than to be the same with the other shoe brand. Now, that is a brand with a purpose, right? You need to watch the movie. They broke the NFL rule. Basically, the shoes has to be all white, but Nike's shoe for Air Jordan was red. they decided to stand out and they decided to pay the price for being different instead of conforming with what's already in the market. So you need to be different. The reason why MJ considered the deal was because it was different. It was especially designed for him. And the reason why it was different was because Nike was thinking differently. So dare to be different. You need to stand out in every market. And the last but not the least, be flexible. Oh my goodness. Now this is very, very, very important because it's one of the things, it's one of the bottlenecks that big brands face. Global brands, it's hard for them to be flexible. Okay, so much bureaucracies in the business that you can't even make some quick decisions, and it's very, very, very bad in this age and time. What am I talking about this age and time? This was in 1984. Nike had to be flexible to be able to achieve this deal. How? As at the time they were trying to get this deal with MJ insisted that he needed to have a percentage of the proceeds from the business. Now that is something that has never been done before, right? So the MD of Nike, which was played by Ben Affleck, had to make a difficult decision, a decision that would change the structure of his business forever, a decision that would change the landscape of the industry. And usually this is the kind of decision that would take months, years even. It will take meetings upon meetings with stakeholders. But what did he say? He said, no, I will deal with the board later. But for now, I think this is the right thing to do. And he did it. And today, oh my God, Nike is better off for it. Not only is Nike one of the best, the biggest sporting brand in the world right now because of that decision, it is also known for its good reputation for redefining the way individual athletes sign deals with companies. So their innovation started way, way, way back, and we need to learn that important trait from Nike. Be flexible. Okay, so I think with this point of mine, I've been able to convince you that there are so many amazing marketing tips that you can learn from the movie Air. If you have more, please leave them in the comment section below. I will be so happy to read them. And if you are yet to see the movie, oh my God, what are you waiting for? Go to Prime Video, watch it, and tell me what you think. Alright, so that'll be all for now. Thank you, bye.
I'm willing to bet my career on one guy.
What's the plan?
We build a shoe line around just him. I need the greatest basketball shoe that's ever been made.
Who's the player?
Micheal Jordan.
Your motor is
You have our attention.
tonight.
You show up at the house? I believe in your son. I believe he's the future. And his story is gonna make us want to fly. But a shoe is just a shoe.
Until my son steps into it.
You got a name for it? Air Jordan.
I don't know.
Seriously?
Maybe it'll grow on me.